you have attention deficiency. Somebody who is under the influence of drugs is not stable. It's not stable. The attention span of a child is about 10-15 minutes. The attention or listening span of a youth is about 40 to 60 minutes. That's why in your periods, you are required to be in class for 1 hour or 2 hours. 3 hours is excessive. It gets to a point where your attention span snaps and you can't understand what they are teaching you again. It leads to what we call system overload. And once you are overloaded, you overload the system rather, you notice that you really can't learn. Maybe your attention span is 1 hour and the lecture is for 3 hours. After 1 hour, your attention snaps and you begin to look at things you can't see. You look at the lecturer is mumbling something but you can't understand it. You can't even hear. And that is also the effect that hunger has. If you are very hungry, somebody is talking, you are looking at the person, and he asks you, what did I say? You say, no idea, sir. So that is part of the problem when we say attention deficiency. You are deficient in listening because of the effect of the drug or substance. Now, some of the drugs we mentioned, I didn't hear anybody mention Nescafe. Do we believe Nescafe is a drug that can be abused? It is part of the beverages that could be abused. I remember in 1994, we used to have a hall in the University of Oyo called the Pavilion. It's a naked hall. It only had a roof and part of the sides were naked. So when you go there, you know that you are in a building that is naked. So I had to take excessive Nescafe to keep me awake to read throughout the night. How many of us still do night classes here? Do we do night classes? God bless those people who do night class. For your portion is that you have better understanding in the morning. See, he that goes in the night bearing the shift, in the morning the darkness comes with answers. Good. So I took the first Nescafe, took the second one, took the third one, and I began to feel very sleepy till I took up to 12. I did not know. Now that's a substance that I abused. For 3 days I couldn't sleep. And I had my veins protruded. And that was my first contact with high blood pressure. As young as I was, I think I was about 21 or so, that was my first incidence of high blood pressure. So at times we abuse substance, even food. Do you know that if you eat excess meat, you attend a buffet, and there's free food, you pack meat, you pack fish, you pack beans, you pack fufu, you pack garri, you pack even rice. And some very poor, hungry people will take jollof rice, fried rice, rice and stew in one stomach. You abuse this stomach such that the excess gas from those food gives you one first blood pressure. The next thing, it blocks your arteries and your veins, and it begins to affect you. You begin to have headache. You can't see very well. Now, you know, as a lawyer, I am learning. As a lawyer, I'm learning. I can discuss anything you want me to discuss under the surface of the sun. Just give me time to research. As a lawyer, I need to also cross-examine medical doctors who perform autopsy. So I need to know the color of the brain. What does it mean? When somebody dies after 2 months, what is the texture of the brain? What's the texture of the brain and all of that? So I need to know. I do my research very well. And I am not here to actually celebrate or say something much about myself. I am trained by the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime. So we look at all of these areas. I am also a lawyer, one of the 132 lawyers across Nigeria who offer help to people who have the issues of drugs, particularly when law enforcement agencies arrest them. You know, these days, if you carry a laptop, they are Yahoo boy. And if you dress and leave your hair, your style, your personal brand, they brand you as a criminal. So when you have those issues, we will distribute some things here through Theolight much later, so that you can contact us through Theolight and we can help you. Now, I'll be speaking randomly. Another problem you have, which ultimately results in academic failure, is that you have blurry eyes. There are opportunistic infection when you use drugs. If you are a user of needle, to inject intravenous drugs, which is more of the extreme, you notice that you stand the risk of having HIV, stand the risk of having hepatitis, you stand the risk of having several other blood-related or tissue-related diseases that could affect you, and you may not be able to achieve your objectives in life. The trend right now globally is that we are not into enforcement, we are into enlightenment, and then we look at the drug user as a victim. When you look at the drug user as a victim, the drug user is not a culprit, but in the Nigerian context, every drug user or suspected drug user is seen as a culprit. They need help. They need help. Somebody who is dependent on drugs needs help. That's not when you get the person arrested, beaten up, thrown into jail, through the courts and all of that. No, the persons need help. Our families must provide home care and support to these people. Our communities, our churches, even native doctors can provide help. Are you surprised? Yes. They can. Well, it's a debatable topic. When next Theolight comes, we may have to look at that to say, can native doctors help drug abusers or cannot help them? So just be agitating, let that go through your mind, and let's be talking about that. Then the next problem is physical, psychic disturbance. Somebody who uses drugs, when he sits down, there's something we call the withdrawal symptom. He begins to scratch himself like a monkey. How many of us have seen a monkey scratch itself? He scratches himself, just scratches like that. And he cannot concentrate. When he sits down, it's like something is going through the body. That's why we advise people run away from drugs, stay away from drugs. Even if the food you take, some food you take will become very excessive and dangerous drugs. You overload your system. It takes about 2 or 3 hours or 4 for carbohydrate to digest. Am I correct? Where does digestion of carbohydrate start? From the mouth, with saliva. But when you take meat, where does it start? Digestion starts in the stomach and can run for about 4 days. Of those 4 days, you go to toilet because you have overloaded your system. Of those 4 days, you realize that when you go to toilet, by the time you poo, it's like a drum is beating for flies, big flies, to come. The putrefaction, the smell of your excreta invites flies from even Ikorobasi to come. It smells so much, and because it smells so much, you can imagine those gas trapped in your stomach. It poisons you. It makes you to think the way you shouldn't think. So I am trying to establish the fact that it's not just the substance we see that constitute drugs. Even the food you eat can constitute drug. Once it changes your body chemistry, and your body chemistry is no longer working at optimum level the way it should work, it means you have abused drugs. You have abused a substance. So it's not only the drugs like tramadol and the rest. Somebody was saying that even some people take drugs to overcome stage fright. I admit it. Even to talk to a girl, some boys take drugs. Shamelessly so. You don't need drugs. Stand before a mirror. Assume that the person you see in the mirror is a girl. Begin to learn the art of chiding. Chiking is good. Chiking boosts your confidence. Chiking makes the lady feel very important. But you don't need drugs. You don't need drugs to do it. You can be yourself. If you are suffering from stage fright, learn techniques. There are several techniques. You can dip your hand in your pocket, count 1 to 100 before you begin to talk to the person. Am I saying anything? Gentlemen, you may consult me after now so that we know how to make our ladies very important. Then another impact is that it leads to memory loss. Memory loss. Some people think it is witchcraft. It is not. At times, our actions lead to reactions that makes us have negative effects, and we think it is witchcraft. It's not that woman, your uncle's wife, who challenged your mother the other day in the village that you won't have a graduate. No, you must guard your heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. You should be able to look at things circumspectly without necessarily tampering with drugs. Now, once you start taking drugs, and how do you start? You start with peer pressure. I was exposed to drugs at the age of 12. And I knew so much about, no. Listen. You may not understand. Some of us have been abused and battered by some of the housemates we had. And that may be your story, but you must look beyond it. When you begin to relate with your peers, your friends, they sack their jeans, you want to sack your jeans. They do malia. You want to also do malia. The way they dress attracts you to dress like them. Till you begin to behave like them, you won't know. Let me give you one ibibliomancer. Adam Samino Akereya. What did I say? It's Latin. You don't understand. We have some ibiblionized Latin. Adam Samino Akereya. When you begin to behave like them or act like them, you end up behaving like them. And the ultimate result, I have a couple of them, about 12 points here, but because of time, I want to abridge them and then let us know that the ultimate result of drugs on academic performance is that the academic performance drops. You find somebody who was very intelligent in primary school, in secondary school, in the university, the person cannot cope. The pressure of drugs will push you into looking for like minds to form what they call cult groups. And they make it so attractive to you that when you join us, we'll make you high and we can fight for you. But there is no fight as good as the fight you initiate and fight it to the end. You're coming to school, it's an academic war. You must fight it to the end. Let me leave it here by singing, sharing this song with us. Are you able to go up and claim your certificate? If you are able, can we sing?